Hello, fellow quirky people. I'm your host, Anna, and today we're going to take a deep dive into the types of infected people in The Last of Us. With this series becoming the new House of the Dragon for HBO in terms of its viewership, let's go a little deeper into this video game-inspired series that's making everyone fall in love with its story all over again. The Last of Us game writer Neil Druckmann is also the creator of the HBO series, so it's obvious that the narrative of the show is following the game very closely. Only a few changes have been made from the game to the show, and these changes have been made for the betterment or expansion of the story. But one of the crucial elements that Last of Us series has kept constant is the types of infected people. The zombie genre has been very popular, and many franchises have tried to tinker with it. Army of the Dead gave us a few different kinds of zombies. World War Z featured an immunity from the zombies. The story of The Last of Us uses the zombie genre and adds a nice little spin to it. For the first time, we've got detailed explanation of how and why people are getting infected. Usually it is due to a virus that causes people to turn into these mindless cannibals. But The Last of Us uses fungus. The game didn't go deep into this, but the series explains that the infection was first spread in a flour mill in Jakarta, Indonesia. It happened when the cordyceps fungi mutated and got transferred from flour to humans.
Cordyceps mutated. Some of it got into the food supply, probably a basic ingredient like flour or sugar. There were certain brands of food that were sold everywhere, all across the country, across the world. Bread, cereal, pancake mix. You eat enough of it, it'll get you infected.
Taking over the brain functions of the infected humans, it had only one goal, that is to spread the infection to as many people as it can. On top of that, the cordyceps in this series work like a hive mind that controls all the infected. And there are 6 different stages after a person gets infected. But before we look at them, it would be nice if you guys would hit those like and subscribe buttons to support our channel. With that out of the way, the first stage of an infected is a runner. The infection could take about a day to take over one's body depending upon how a person has got it. If he or she gets it through food consumption, then it takes about a whole day or 2. But if it happens by getting bitten by an infected, then the duration of turning into one of those depends upon how close the person has been bitten to his or her brain. And just when the cordyceps take over the brain, we get the first stage of infection, which creates the runner. Here, the infected person becomes violent and looks to bite others to spread the infection. Usually, runners are only as strong as mindless, violent humans, so they can be killed by knives, guns, or all other brutal ways a human can be slaughtered. After this one, the second stage is a stalker. After infecting the brain of a person, the cordyceps expand from the brain to the rest of the face. And when an infected spends some time under the control of the fungus, the cordyceps grow out of its eyes, nose, and mouth. They still have a bit of vision, along with the speed of a runner, but they move very differently. They are much better and more patient hunters than runners because rather than moving towards their target, the stalkers stay low and hidden to spy on their prey. They wait to burst from their hiding spot and attack by crawling pretty fast towards their prey. They can also use echolocation up to a certain extent, but they can be killed by stabbing and shooting, although the humans have to be pretty smart and vigilant while tracking them. The next stage of the infected is a clicker. It takes at least a year for an infected to turn into a clicker. In this stage, the fungal growth covers the entire skull of the infected, including its eyes and ears. It even begins to spread on the torso of the infected. The creatives behind this series have truly nailed the look of these clickers. They look nasty as fuck, but hats off to the makeup and prosthetic artists. Anyway, moving on, they are called clickers because of the clicking sounds they produce. These clickers have a wide range of abilities, and the first of them is that they are truly amazing dancers. Take a look.
Hey Daddy, when you gonna stop playing? Bad bitch, I could be your fantasy.
Okay, jokes apart, because the fungal growth has spread across the whole face, the eyes of these clickers are totally covered. So they use a form of echolocation to track down their prey. It's just like how bats use echolocation by emitting high-frequency sound pulses through their mouths or noses. These frequencies hit the surfaces around them and bounce back to their ears, giving them the lay of the land. Similarly, clickers are clicking and groaning sounds to emit frequency waves that bounce off things in their surroundings. So even without their eyes, they can track what's in their surroundings. Even the shape of the fungus on their face becomes like a sort of megaphone that catches all the reverb sound waves. And the clickers are also highly sensitive to regular sound waves. You will be hunted down if you make a sound or try to run fast. In this third stage of infection, the clickers are also much stronger than runners and stalkers, so it becomes really tough to kill them because the fungal layer on their faces is quite hard. Stabbing a clicker head-on won't be enough. Their fungal layer even takes up quite a few bullets to get cracked. So in order to kill a clicker successfully, high caliber weapons are needed. You could use a shotgun, or you have to throw things around them so they get distracted. Then you need to get closer to them and attack their spinal cords. Or you could use a flamethrower to burn their skin and melt the fungal plating. Even if it doesn't kill the clicker entirely, it will weaken it enough for you to stab it. But one thing that separated the clickers from zombies in other franchises is that they'd only be violent if you resist the infection. They won't bite you if you willingly accept the cordyceps in your body. After the clickers, the next stage of the infected is a bloater. This is the stage where the infection spreads across the whole body and the infected person starts to look like an ugly mutated mushroom. Their entire bodies are covered with fungal plating. This does make them slow, but they also get a lot of super strength with it. Along with their brute strength, a bloater's primary attack comes with its sac of toxin spores. These toxic spores can cause health damage and harm to eyesight. And once a person comes in contact with these toxins, he or she also slows down, giving the bloaters a chance to get close enough to attack. They can last really long in battles and even against flamethrowers. But still, Molotov cocktails and flamethrowers are the best way to slow down a bloater and melt its fungus. That will make it weak enough to be killed with a shotgun and other strong weapons. But it is still important for humans to stay away from their toxin-releasing spores. The next stage of infection creates the SHAMBLERS. These types of the infected didn't show up until The Last of Us 2. They are the most difficult types of infected zombies to defeat because unlike the bloaters, they can actually pick up their speed and become as fast as a runner. And with their bulky fungal plating, they are far stronger than any human. But their most dangerous attack is spraying a toxic acid. Killing them with short-range attacks is next to impossible as they can get to you with their speed and strength. Or they can get you by spraying toxins that would cause immediate health damage. Once again, you need to burn them while keeping your distance. And even when they are dead, you can't go near them as their bodies will release toxins even after they die. The next and the final stage of the infected is the Rat King. This is obviously the most dangerous and disgusting mutation of the cordyceps. It is the final boss zombie that the cordyceps hive mind creates by mixing runners, stalkers, clickers, and other infected beings into one. They release acidic gas at a much faster rate than shamblers. They've got all the abilities that every infected zombie does. And at this given point, the different types of infected such as runners or clickers could even detach from the Rat King and attack individually. So, it will take a lot of people, time, and patience to take down the Rat King. Okay, that wraps up all the types of infected zombies from The Last of Us. Hit those like and subscribe buttons and show your support if you liked the video. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.